Hello, Rupert. Thank you for coming here and inspiring us. I've been wondering a lot about how come we manifest at all. What's the trigger for manifestation? Is that experience?
Just the overflowing or outpouring of awareness. It is its nature to manifest itself.
So 7 billion manifestations? Or one?
No, it's one manifestation seen from 7 billion, or if we include all the animals, 7 trillion perspectives. But the same reality, made of pure consciousness, viewed from 7 trillion points of view.
So how about me?
You are one of those 7 trillion points of view.
By coincidence?
Not by coincidence, but you are just one of the... take infinite consciousness, when I say infinite consciousness like this, I don't mean to imply that consciousness is a vast space. Infinite consciousness has no dimensions at all.
Understand.
But we cannot think about that. So let's imagine that it is a vast field or space in which all possible things are contained in potential. And imagine this field vibrating within itself. But it cannot perceive itself directly. In order to perceive its own activity, it needs to localize itself in the form of a separate subject of experience, a finite mind. That's each of us. And it is only from the perspective of a finite mind, an apparently separate subject of experience, that consciousness appears as form. In just the same way that when your own mind, the activity of your own mind, assumes the form of a dream at night, your own mind doesn't view the dreamed world directly. You have to overlook the fact that you are dreaming. You have to enter into your own imagination. You have to seem to become a separate subject of experience in the dreamed world, from whose perspective the dreamed world is known. So each of us are like dreamed characters in the mind of infinite consciousness, through whom, or through whose agency, or from whose perspective, infinite consciousness appears as an outside world. In other words, it is each of our minds that refracts the unity of consciousness and makes it appear as a multiplicity and diversity of objects and selves.
So now, as a finite person, me, the I decide in my finite mind to have a child. So what is happening now? The number 7 billion and 1 in the finite mind, but in consciousness, it was there already, that opportunity for that to happen. Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, it's just like in the same way that your mind at night in a dream can refracts itself into a multiplicity and diversity of people and things. It's the same with consciousness. Consciousness does the same in this waking state. So when you have a child, the consciousness of your child, or the self of your child, it doesn't appear new. Just like the people in your dream, their consciousness is not new. It is borrowed from the consciousness of the dreamer. So the consciousness of the new child, which is the being, the self of the, it is not a new being. It is a new localization of the same ever-present being. So the being doesn't come into existence. The consciousness of the child doesn't come into existence. It is eternal. It eternally is. But the new child is a new localization of consciousness within its own dream. Just as if you were to fall asleep in Copenhagen and you dream that you go as a student to study in Paris. In Paris you meet a girl, you get married and you have a family in your dream. You have 2 children and your children grow up in Paris. Now the 2 children, from the perspective of you in your dream on the streets of Paris, your 2 children seem to have their own consciousness, their own being. They seem to be individuals that are separate from you. What they essentially are and what you essentially are seem to be separate. However, when you wake up in the morning, you realize that you, the student in Paris, the woman you got together with, and your 2 children, the consciousness of each of you was a refraction of the same indivisible consciousness of your own dreaming mind. So it's the same here. And when you feel that you love your children, that feeling of love is the recognition that your being is shared. That's what love or friendship is. It is the recognition that despite our differences, our different bodies, our different thoughts, our different feelings, etc., underneath all of that, our being is shared. When we feel that, that is the experience of love. And that is why everybody, without exception, loves the experience of love. What it really means is that everybody, without exception, loves their own being. And everybody, in fact, longs to be divested of everything that seems to make their being feel temporary and finite. That's why everybody loves friendship or intimate relationship, because in friendship or in intimate relationship we are, to a greater or lesser extent, divested of the sense of separation, and we feel one with the other. We don't become one with the other. We feel our prior unity. That's what love is, the recognition of our shared being.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you.